Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to a special edition of Thursday's Business and News Technology Tips for with Rick and Trina Bird. And today we have a very, very special guest, Dr. Thelma Witherspoon. And Thelma, we go back a long way. I'm so glad you decided to do this. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say we grew up together, but we did start our careers at a young age, simultaneously, in many aspects. I just, I really wanted to talk to you and see, basically what your platform was, and just your what you see in your vision, because you have to have a vision when you run for office. You have to have a plan. You got to know exactly what you plan on getting done, and you got to make sure that you stick to that plan and that nobody, gets in with their agenda and deters you from it. And you and I both have a little bit of experience. Even Rick, welcome Rick. He's got experience in, doing campaigns and running for office. And right. I just wanted to, say thank you for, deciding to do this and welcome you aboard to add to our little portfolio of broadcasts that we do. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Trina. Rick and Trina, thank you so much for having me on this webinar today.
I'm glad. And I know you do. I want to talk a little bit about your, how you got started. I also want to mention that you do a weekly show as well. And I try to tune in as much as I can. I really like your format and how relaxed it is, and how, you make people feel comfortable when they come on your show, and, you get them to talk about things. Sometimes it's tough things that you get, and, you challenge them. You are really good. I wouldn't call us journalists, but we are really. Yeah. But you do a good job as a host journalist. So
thank you so much.
So give us a little bit of. Oh, go ahead, Rick. I'm gonna cut you off.
I wasn't aware of the show. What show is that? So I can tune in.
In the community with Dr. Thelma and First Lady Mary Parrish on WEHA 88.7, 100.3 FM. Every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay, on Saturdays. Okay.
Yeah, in the morning. Yeah, I have it where it goes live on my Facebook page, but Saturday mornings is a little tough sometimes to be able to tune in or remember. We getting older now. So
I know.
Some things in the morning I just kind of miss, and then I'm tag, But I've caught it a couple of times, and very, very proud of your success, Thelma. You come from a background. Tell us a little bit about your background, because the Witherspoon name is a name that everyone knows. So tell us a little bit about you and your family, and the things that you've been able to accomplish in our short-lived time.
Well, I grew up in Atlantic City. I'm a PK, a preacher's kid. My mom and dad started a ministry 44 years ago on Vermont and Madison Avenue in Atlantic City. And the ministry had a lot of young people. A lot of young people came, and they were able to help so many youth and a lot of people in the community during that particular time. Some had fathers, some didn't have fathers. Some fathers were absent, and they were like spiritual parents to many of the young people. And my community service actually started from the church, because we were always giving. When there was Hurricane Gloria down in South Carolina, we rented a tractor trailer. They rented a tractor. Church rented a tractor trailer and took clothes and water. And when Jeffrey Towers was on fire, they brought all the senior citizens in the basement of the church. So this went on for many years, So I believe that my seeing that and growing up in that and being involved in that, it really helped me to have a desire to be a part and to help in our community. So that's how that started. Was from my background. It really had a lot to do with that. And Trina, as you know, me and you, we were you were running in Pleasantville. You was on the school board in Pleasantville, and I was on the school board in Atlantic City. We talking about the things.
I remember that shakeup. I was like, boy, Thelma, she just went to the top on day one. But I understand. Let me tell you, it was that school board is something else. I know when I got on the first time I ran, it was a learning experience, and I
Yes.
was with a team, and you know how that situation goes. But the second time I ran, it was a coup. I was supposed to be president, and 10 minutes before we go in there and everybody's lined up to vote, I won't say names, but there was a coup, and my team that I had gotten involved in the campaign world, and thinking they were there to do the best thing for the kids, and all of that good stuff. They orchestrated this coup and shut me down. I was like,
No.
okay, this is what politics is really about. But I still sat there and did my thing. I know we would, I would read about you in the press with us trying to fight for things that were right for the kids, opposed to all
Yeah.
that other nonsense.
Right.
And then you would read about my stuff. I mean,
Yes.
those were the days.
That's about almost 20 years ago, Trina.
I know. But it seemed like yesterday when you start talking about it.
That's true. We've
That's
been involved. And when I ran, I ran as a mom with a Jewish grandmother. So it was a mother-grandmother team. Rochelle
oh
South in 1999.
yeah,
And
that's
she was running
impressive.
for her grandchildren, and I was running for my child.
Hmm.
And we won. Nobody expected for us to win, but we won. And I just wanted to do a good job. I was so happy that the people elected me. Then I was like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
But I thank God for the school boards associations, because that's when I started going to classes so
Hmm.
I could learn what to do.
Mhm.
And it didn't take me long. In 3 years, I was a master school board member. And they
Oh,
said that normally takes
congratulations. Yeah.
2 terms, but I done it in 1 term.
Yeah, it was interesting work too. I mean, you learned a lot about educational law. What's the name of that book? NJ 18?
Yeah.
That
Hmm.
little purple and white book.
2A or something.
Yeah. So
218.
yeah, it was interesting.
It was very interesting,
Hmm.
because what you think you can do, you can't. You
Exactly.
know, like you may have all these ideas, but if it doesn't come in the confines of the law, you won't be able to do it. So I learned the structure of the school system. The superintendent, the school board is responsible for the superintendent, and we set policies and things like that. But we can't go into the classrooms and tell the teachers what to do. That's the
Exactly.
superintendent's job.
Let's put it like this, Thelma. We're not supposed to, but we know there's a few board members that think they just acquired a company and now they run they employee, they got new employees or something like that. So we know about
Yeah,
that.
you can't do that.
But yeah, well, imagine me, learning like you did, and I was actually running my own school. It was such a benefit to the success of my school and learning
Yes,
how it's supposed to be done. And
right,
within the guidelines, because even though we are a private vocational school, we still have to follow that New Jersey statute of education because we're approved by the Department of Ed and the Department of Labor. And so being on that school board and having to learn those kinds of laws and procedures and most importantly policies, I love the policy committee because I learned how to write policies. I use those
right.
skill sets now. So it was, it was a great opportunity. I just wish that, all of the nonsense that went on in those, during those times and still does now could just be wiped out. And, you get down to the business of, being there to not only improve the education for the kids, but to address some of the social issues that exist with our children today that we don't understand.
Right, especially our children.
Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. And also learning parliamentary procedure. How a meeting,
exactly.
what to run, and what to do.
How
And
to
it was
lead.
a great experience for me because you had to work as a team in order to get a job done.
Exactly.
A lot
Because you're
of
only
people feel
one
like
vote.
that, right. They feel that, once they're elected, they can do it all. But you
Hmm.
can't, you're just one vote. Now
Exactly.
you want to
One vote.
have influence
Hmm.
so that you will be able to get some things accomplished. But you got to be able to work with other people. It's all about teamwork and team building. It's a lot of that in order to get things accomplished, especially for our children. and for the staff and negotiating contracts. It's all a part of leadership. It was a
It
part of
is.
leadership, and it was a really great experience for me.
And it leads into other, I mean, when we were young when we became board members. So typically your board member is a retired teacher and they're in their late 60s or whatever. And, that was the school board back in the day. Today, you got young people on there. But those skill sets that you learn if you're there for the right reasons and taking in what you're being educated on and being taught to do, and, decision making, looking at finances, looking at policy,
Right.
all those
Absolutely.
things are a good ingredient for the future, which has now led you to move into, going from the school board. Because I actually was school board member, vice president, and then I became vice president of the county school board for a couple of years. That was another level of interesting because you govern all the school districts and they all do things differently to a degree.
Right.
So I really valued that experience. But now you're taking it even further and jumping over into the freeholder world, which, I'm glad we had this foundation conversation, because people can know now that, Thelma, she's knowledgeable. She's admitted that she learned a lot. She didn't know what to expect when she first got on board as a school board member, but she took the initiative. And I have to tell you that master certification as a school board member is not an easy task. Not easy. I wanted to do it, but because I was growing my business, I had no time for that. But I wanted it because I knew the value in it. And you did have the time and you did get the value of it. And you actually reached the final stretch in getting certified. I wonder how many people on that board now are going to, have that credential. But I want to point out, it's not a credential just for school boards. It's a credential for governing any kind of board. And you're certified in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people who run for the school board, should take those classes.
Exactly.
Because even if you have a business, you can't run your business like you do the school board. And we can see that on the national level. We have a president, he's a businessman, but he cannot run the country like he ran his business. Or like he runs business. You know what I'm saying? It's two total different entities. You can't mix the two.
An apple and a cake.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like gel it together to make it work for your particular situations.
And that person in the White House, all he was good at saying was, "You're fired." And he's demonstrated that, in his last 4 years. You just can't fire people because you don't agree with them. You got to look at the value in people. And you're right; it's a team effort, Thelma, and everybody's going to be different. Everybody's different in your family, but you still get along as best you can. You got to treat that same, when you're working on a board, whether it's a school board, the freeholder board, senator, president, any of these political things. I mean, people will respect you. They don't have to ever like you, but if they respect you, you won the battle.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your aspirations. What made you decide to, go from school board? I know you've been very heavy in the community. I saw you at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new McDonald's a few years ago with Rita Mack and all that. The food bank thing or the food giveaways. You've been doing a whole bunch of really, really great things. And along the way, meeting great people and just showing who you really are in your heart as a person. Even though you are a pastor's daughter, you still, we already expect that from you. But most of the time, these kids sometimes don't have that giving heart that they were raised to be. They want to just get as far away from it as they can. Whereas you have embraced it and turned it into the next generation of Witherspoons, headed by a Black, beautiful woman who is about doing what's great for her community and the children of her community, and creating a second level of reaching back like you did, like your parents did for you. And so you have been demonstrating that. I want people to know, I haven't been, at every one of your events, but I do watch Facebook. That's the power of it, to see the positiveness that people are doing in their communities. And you've been doing that. I think you are in the right place at the right time with all of it you have done. And along that, you got your doctorate. And I mean, come on. We got to give you your props.
That's right.
Yeah, my doctorate was an honorary doctorate given to me by SICA. And that was presented to me in 2013 in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
And it was for all of the work that they saw that I was doing back then. And that was bestowed upon me. So I appreciate it. I do have a master's from Jameson Bible School. My degree is in biblical theology.
Okay, great.
So recently I became pastor of my dad's church.
Congratulations!
In February, yeah, my dad and mom's church. So, which was a honor. It's an honor. All of my family is in ministry. My brother, Pastor Luke, Bishop Luke Witherspoon II, he's a pastor. All of my family is doing well, and whatever that they're doing, they are doing well, and it's because of the upbringing that we had.
That makes such a difference.
No doubt.
It makes a difference.
I mean, you have that firm foundation. And a lot of people don't realize how vital that is. And like when you go up and stand out, you got to stand on something.
Exactly, a firm foundation.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thank God for that.
Yes, we all do. But I just want to say, for what little bit that I've heard thus far, I think you got the job, and I think you do well.
Well, I appreciate that, but we need people going and turning in those mail-in ballots. I remember years ago, I went to sleep. Hillary was winning. When I woke up, President Donald Trump was in. So you can't take anything for granted. I don't take my opponent for granted. We met each other. I don't really know him personally, and have nothing against him because I don't know him.
Right.
I don't know him like that. I just know that he's a candidate like I'm a candidate. Neither one of us have ever ran for freeholder, so it's our first time, and it's going to be changed to commissioner January 1st. It's already changed, but it'll be official January 1st.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what difference does that make, Thelma?
Well, they took the word freeholder because they said it had a lot of negative history. The freeholder word has a lot of negative history, so it's commissioner. It's been changed, signed into law by the governor, and it's going to be commissioner. And I ran actually in 2006. I ran for city council in Atlantic City, and I lost. And I ran off the line. I learned you don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't run off the line. But it was a learning experience. Everything that we do in life has a purpose. And in 2017, I ran for freeholder at large and lost by 252 votes.
Whoa.
That was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good, but I was exhausted from that election. I rested and came back at the time. Ashley Bennett, who's currently our freeholder in District 3, she had aspirations for another office. And so that her seat would have been vacant. And she endorsed me for her seat. And I thank God for that. But I've been working hard. I just didn't assume because I got the endorsement that I was going to lay down. I'm out there. I got something new out. If you've been watching my Facebook page, social distancing campaigning. I got on a bus.
I've seen it.
You seen it?
Yeah.
And so what I've done, because it's very difficult to knock on doors, I have done some door knocking, some phone banking. You do a little bit of everything. And but some people are apprehensive, and I can understand that. So what I came up with this idea: why don't I ride around in the neighborhood, and the bus has a microphone on it.
Oh, okay.
I would come through. This is Thelma Witherspoon running for District 3, and I would introduce myself. And if people wanted to engage, we would stand 6 feet apart. I would get off the bus,
Yeah.
stay 6 feet apart, and introduce myself, tell them who I was, give them my website, and tell them to look me up and ask for their vote. You know, a lot of people go out putting stuff in your door, but they ain't asking you for your vote.
Yeah, they don't make that personal interaction. That's yeah.
You got to interact with the public, so people will know you. They can hear you, but I know I don't vote for people I don't know. So I didn't expect for people to vote for me just because my last name was Witherspoon, even though it does help.
Right. You
I
ain't gonna
wanted
throw that away, right? But you also want somebody that takes the time to knock on your door and say hi. How are you doing?
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
along the way, you hear people's concerns, so you can relate. So then when you get there, you have something to build upon, not just your own, your own position on things. And that's who you represent, the people. And I think a lot of politicians they get caught up and forget that.
Right, they
You,
fall
you
short
know,
every time.
that's
Yeah,
like I
you got
told you before. I ran for mayor twice and lost both times. And it's a devastating experience to put that amount of work in, and all you can do at the end is have your talk with God and say, what did you have me learn from this experience? Because you had me do it for a reason. And so I took it from both experiences. But I also believe that you can't look at something on the sideline and decide whether or not it's good for you or bad for you. You got to get in it and try it. And so
exactly.
I took away a lot of experience from both times I ran. I told Judy Ward, it just was not the time for a woman to head up a city like Pleasantville. But I told her I believe that now is the time that a woman can get that position. Because look at the Freeholder board. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 women on there, which it used to be.
It's actually four. Wait, yeah, about 3. Yeah, 4 women on the Freeholder board. It's 4 women on the Freeholder board right now.
Yeah.
So Ashley stepping down at the end of the year, that seat would have been vacant. And she done a phenomenal job running as a millennial in that seat, and was the first African American in that seat. Not the first African American on the Freeholder board. That was Lillian.
Lillian, yeah.
Yeah, remember her?
Yeah, I did her in my Black History Month. I did a month-long presentation of the first Black people, and I had put her in there. I did a little research and put her in. Why is she leaving? She's going to another position, you said?
Well, at one point she was running for Congress at one point.
Oh,
and then she ended up suspending her campaign. So, but at one point she was stepping up to another position, and then I was stepping up to Freeholder because I wanted to take my community service to the next level. You can sit on the outside of the line and you can watch. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said you can be the best player on the team, but you can't be the team. And you cannot make change unless you are a part. You got to be a part of the game in order to make change. You consider it's like watching the football. I was watching Tom Brady when he threw his thing last night. He lost. They lost last night, right? Yeah. But I can sit and scream at that TV as much as I want to. But unless I'm in that football game, I can't make anything happen.
That's right.
The same thing happens in politics. Everybody sits on the outside and say, what should be done? Could it be done? But if you're not there where the change needs to be made, how effective? You can't do anything.
No.
You just
can't. Very good point.
You can't. People always ask me when I was on the school board, why are you involved with the school board? Your kid goes to private school. I said, because there's 100, maybe 1,000 kids out there who still need my help. I got my own birth child, but that doesn't mean I don't care about the rest of the kids in the community. And my whole objective then was to get those computers on every single desk, because how I knew it, I don't know. But I knew technology was going to be the driving force in every career. And I wanted our kids to get equal to Linwood, Margate, Northfield. And I knew the way to that was going to be education through technology. And, we did one of the biggest deals with, at that time, it was Compact.
It was Compact, yeah.
And I pissed off a lot of technology vendors who we were like colleagues. But I wasn't going to let you come into the school district and make $1 million off of being the middleman to get those. I think it was 2,500 computers, or 2,500
Right.
computers. And I cut them out. And so cutting them out, I saved the school district $1 million. And
Wow.
I negotiated a deal where the software came equipped. At that time, you bought it separately, like
Right.
wasn't installed on anything. And I went to Compaq, and I said, look, we are a poor district. This is our first attempt to implement this technology in these brand new schools. We spent all our money building the schools, but we need you to help us. Microsoft really didn't, have those programs in place, but you do, and we need you. And they came down and they gave away everything to us on that deal.
Wow.
And that middleman would have never been able to do that, or he could have done it, but he would have charged us to do it. And that,
Exactly.
to this day, when I see him, he doesn't speak to me. I won't name names, but he was like,
Yeah, no name names.
no,
But it's a learning. But you had to be a part of that in order to make that change
that's my
effect.
point. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the same thing on any board. Running for the Freeholder, we're basically the legislative body for the county. We oversee the budget. A lot of people don't know what the Freeholder does. We oversee the budget and of the county and the roads, the prisons, the parks, all of that. Anything county related is what we do, and I think being a part of that is a great opportunity to work on behalf of the constituents. And although I will be representing the representative for Egg Harbor Township and portions of Hamilton Township, like Ernest Coursey, Freeholder Coursey, he's for Lang City and Pleasantville, but I still have a vote on the entire anything that the county does on the Freeholder board. I'll still have a vote, but I represent a certain district if I am to be elected. And the people choose to elect me, then I will be representing a district, but still have the voice for the entire Freeholder boards on anything that's going to be passed. I have a say, and that's what I would like to do.
And we need that. We need that voice. We need that voice from a person that's been in the community for years and knows what the needs and concerns of the people are, and also a person that's approachable. Like, and I can say this, I know this for a fact, that you can pick the phone up and call Thelma Witherspoon, Dr. Thelma Witherspoon, with a concern. And if she can't help you, she will find out who can. And then she will follow up to make sure that request was completed. I can
Absolutely.
say that. And I'm not in any political position. I'm not running for anything. I have no incentive other than to see educated Black woman, not only who has planted her seeds and baked her cakes and pies and done all the necessary work to get to where she wants to go. And that all I want to see is that you become successful in whatever your dream and your plans are. And then when you get there, keep your same philosophy. And, we need representation. We just do. We are, I hate to say this, but we got to get out of our way. We got to make sure that, if Thelma's running, okay, so what? I don't like her style. But we got to get you in there so that we have somebody there that's connected that can say, look, my constituents feel this way, and what can we do to help them? What can we do? Let's come to the table, because you don't understand my constituents. I do. This is where we are. This is what we need. What can we come together and do?
Right, because it brings a different perspective when you have people from diverse backgrounds dealing with situations. It brings a different perspective. And so then you're able to make a quality decision on what needs to be done based on various information from various people. And I think that's what makes the difference.
It does. It always has.
Yeah.
It always has. And we both know from the school board, it's not really a district kind of thing. You're a school board member, you represent everybody in the city. But of course, if you went to Indiana Avenue School in Atlantic City, and the principal's there, which that school's closed now, but let's just say hypothetically, that school there, the teachers came in and said, Dr. Witherspoon, we have these issues, you can relate to it because you come from there.
Exactly. And a lot of times, I'm glad you brought that point up, because a lot of times people will ask you stuff that you have no jurisdiction over. You have nothing. That's not what you do. I'm out here running, and people asking me about Roe versus Wade. I'm not a congressional candidate. I'm a freeholder candidate. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to know what position that you're running for and what that job entails. Amy Kennedy and Congressman Van Drew is running for Congress. I'm running for freeholder. I'm not going to be voting on Roe versus Wade, but I will be voting on the county budget. I will be voting on the prison, things that affect the Atlantic County Jail, the roads, the bridges, the parks, and those types of situations. But it doesn't mean that I can't direct you where you need to go, to get the help that you need. So that's what, I'm glad that you brought that up.
And I bring that up, Thelma, because I feel like, we do have a lot of people in our community that don't understand the political process. They don't know the difference between a senator and a congressman, and obviously, when you get into politics, you have to learn all that. And your average person is not shooting for the political world. And so they don't have that knowledge. But when you take the time to explain to them, like you just said you did, and then you told them who to go to, that makes all the difference.
It really does. You're upset about a pothole in your city. Is it on a county road, or is it in the neighborhood where the municipality is responsible? So you can be getting mad at the freeholder, and it's not a freeholder, it's not a county road.
Exactly.
Exactly. It may be one in your district, So like although the Black Horse Pike runs through Pleasantville, that's a county road.
Right.
But if the pothole is on Evergreen Street, I made that street up. I don't know if y'all got one like that. Shadeland Avenue. Avenue. If it's a pothole on Shadeland Avenue, then you have to call your council person. You have to call the city as opposed to the freeholder. So it's those type of things that people sometimes don't understand.
When we because our school is like 100% virtual now. We do some things inside the building with our RBT program, but for the most part, all of our computer classes are virtual. And so when we were at the height of our career at the T-Bird Center, we didn't have enough parking in front of the building. And so this is what you're saying. This is how I found out about roads, because I did not know. And so I was having some political, jump back, or, how they do you when they know blowback. That's the word. Thank you, Rick. With the city, and they, came down there and ticketed all my, because they were parked along Crescent Avenue, which is a no parking zone. And so I called my county freeholder, which at the time was not Frank Blee, but the other tall guy. I can't. He was a Republican, but he was a really good guy. I can't think of his name. He was with Blee and Gormley, and I called him. He said, "Look, the county owns that little strip on the Egg Harbor, what's that, Tilton Road side of your building. It's a little strip that's got asphalt." He said the county owns it. He said, "You have every one of your cars back into that, back in. Don't let them pull in, because I don't want them backing out and causing any problems. But you have them, tell them to get to school, early and back in. And that's a county road, and nobody will mess with you." I was like, okay.
It works.
It worked. Yeah.
So you know what? So then you're able to call your representatives if you know exactly, what your issue is. And then if it's the wrong issue, then they'll be able to direct you. What that's not what we do, but this is where you go for this.
For that,
Or
yeah,
or
definitely.
call the 211 or something. You know, it's
Exactly.
just it's amazing. It's amazing.
And education is power. When you know what to do, or if you don't know what to do, if you at least can look on that board, freeholder board, and see somebody that looks like you. You know, you got a lot of single women, single parents, and in our community that we need somebody like you, Thelma, that we can feel comfortable with, that we can say, I'm having this problem. Can you help me? Or if you can't, where do I go to get that help? And it's so
Exactly.
important. It has to be like you said. It has to be representative of the county that you live in, and it's so important. And there's one thing I want to talk to you about, because I'm in the training business of teaching people when they get unemployed, and they go over to the one-stop center and they receive those kinds of services. And I know you guys, you approve the budgets for those kinds of things. And people don't always understand, everything that the freeholders do approve. I know because we did a TV show back in the day, and the freeholders were before us. It was called, I think, the Legislative Hour. They came on before T-Bird Live, and we would get to the studio early in preparation. And I learned a lot from just looking at that show. I cannot think of that man's name, but it was Frank Brady, Gormley, and another guy. He left the area. That's why you probably can't remember his name.
Was it Levin?
Levin. Yep. Yeah, Levin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I learned a lot about that. And we in the community, and I'm not saying this just to promote my company, but I know there are a lot of people out there that need new skill sets now because of this pandemic. And
Right.
legislation is coming down the pike where schools like mine, the college, even the whole dynamic of education with the state colleges, Biden is pushing for those schools to be free to the local residents and all that. But everybody can't go to college, is not looking for college. They're looking for a private school where they can, get that one-on-one attention. And I just want to, say to you how important it is for opportunities for people to become more educated in any area that they choose, so that they have better better skills to compete for those limited jobs that are out there. I just wanted to, throw that out there. And I know you're big on education. You always have been. But that is certainly something that's dear to my heart. And I know it is to you as well. Because people people, they want to be better in their jobs. They want to, advance. But sometimes, and this is the big point I want to make, if you're making $1,000 a month and the cutoff for your salary is your gross amount opposed to your net amount, how could you ever improve yourself? Because you won't get that free grant or you won't get that free opportunity. Why do they always go with the gross amount that you make opposed to the net amount that you make? After all your bills are paid, what do you have left over? Can you use that to do something to better yourself?
Well, a lot of those are federal guidelines.
Yeah, I know.
So when people even go into like apartments or low income housing, it's federally guidelines, school lunch programs, federal guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way it's set, the poverty level is so low. If you make $1 over, you don't qualify for anything.
Right.
You don't qualify for anything. So it's an uphill battle. But right now with COVID-19, a lot of things are open for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And people can go to school, they can take a class, they can do a lot of things, and there's monies that are available. It's just that people got to tap into it. You got to tap into what's out there, to improve yourself, to make yourself marketable, and make yourself, to improve yourself, just to make yourself better. I'm telling you, COVID-19 has been very challenging, but also enriching for me, because being at the church, I'm not saying that we wouldn't have got online. I'm not saying we wouldn't have got online, but I don't think we would have done it as fast as we did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We had to, I had to learn Zoom. Like the first time I went on Zoom, Rick and Trina, I could see the doctor, she couldn't see me. And I'm just hitting the buttons and, I could hear it, but I didn't know how to do it. But I was forced to learn how to, so I could communicate. And so most of your churches are either on conference call, they're on Zoom, they're online. It has been a blessing as much as it has been challenging for people who have underlying health conditions. And that's another thing in our community, because public health awareness is a part of my platform as far as county is concerned, is that especially in the minority community, our immune systems are low. We're overweight, high blood pressure, diabetes, different problems. And a lot of people who have suffered from COVID-19 is because they had underlying conditions.
Exactly.
And if nothing else, it should, it make us look at ourselves, how we're eating. Are we exercising? Are we walking? Public health awareness. What are we doing to help take care of ourselves? This is important. And, the county has programs, where people who may not have insurance, they can go and get a flu shot or, different things of that nature. You got to tap into what's out there. Be creative and innovative, but also tap into the resources that are available so you can get the help you need. I know right now there's a grant out there that's being administered through Ocean Inc. for people who are behind in their rent. And I was just talking to someone the other day. I said, listen, there's no reason for no one to get evicted. First of all, you can't get evicted right now because the governor has signed an executive order. You can't get evicted, or you can't go into foreclosure. But there are funds that are out there that are available that you can tap into. So by the time that everything is lifted, you'll be straight.
Exactly.
No, it's just a matter of tapping into. If you got problems with your electric, you got problems with your gas, you got to tap into what you're doing. And so I know, like, the welfare is under the county. So even people who are homeless, if they call the 211 number, they're putting them up in the hotel.
Wow.
That's under the county. That's under the county, right? So people were asking me about the environment. Thelma, what are you going to do about the environment? I said, Atlantic County Utilities Authority already have a good program over there. Let's tap into it. Tap into what's already working, and then bring other ideas to enhance it and make things better. So that's what I want to do if elected to be a part of the Freeholder board. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about the election. I've already voted. I was apprehensive at first, because I was a machine girl. I went to the machine and voted. COVID-19 made me go mail-in ballot. So I've done the mail-in ballot and already. So you don't have to wait until November the 3rd. You can vote now.
Exactly. We got ours in the mail. We're waiting on Rick's to come in, and then we're all going to do it as a family. Everybody's going to do it as a family, so that we make sure that each person does it, that it gets done. Exactly. And the family is going to be a Zoom thing, because a lot of families, different places in New Jersey. And mail it in. And
mail it in. And you don't even have to have postage.
No.
You don't even need postage, So when does the election has already started?
Yeah. In fact, I saw the stats. They said over 4 million people this time in 2016, this stage of the year, 75,000 people have voted. This year, right now, so far, it's 4,000. That was, I think, Monday. So it's probably increased substantially. But it was 4 million people.
Right. That voted in New Jersey.
So far. Yep.
Yeah.
And early voting. Yep. And you were right. That the Zoom, and I always tell people when I speak about this, but we started our school going into the virtual world back in 2000. I started it actually 2014, and looking at all the different opportunities I could actually take advantage of, learn how to use and all that. And made a decision in 2016 to take it online, and everybody thought we went out of business because they no longer saw cars in the parking lot. Oh, it's cheaper. Yeah, I remember that. Like, oh man, they must be closing up. They probably went bankrupt. No, we were on the cutting edge of technology. Instead of our students filling up the parking lot, they were logging in from the comfort of their home. But the agencies didn't want to give me the approval to do it. The people were like, no, I got to be inside a classroom. I can't learn any other way. We had the counselors that were against us. It was a whole like movement. Like, what are you doing? This is never going to work. And look at where we are now.
Exactly. Yeah,
I can't tell you how many schools called me and how the counselors were, Trina, how you do this? How you do that? And I wanted to just say, you know what? If you'd have listened to me, you'd have been 2 years in with the experience. But, you know, while they're now scrambling to perfect their school in the virtual world, we are 4 years plus.
Well, you know what? And those schools who were on the cutting edge of that technology are ahead of the ball game.
Yes.
People who did not want to change, did not want to change, they're scrambling.
That's the key. They didn't want to change.
But they didn't want to change.
They had to change.
Mm-hmm.
They had to change. And most of the schools that are not in the urban environment in our county, there are 2 schools under Atlantic County Freeholder Board, which is the Atlantic County Special Services and ACIT. But everything else is not under our auspices. You know, we're not in charge of those things. But we fund the Atlantic Cape Community College. And we fund those other 2 schools that I mentioned. But most of those schools that are offshore have gotten their virtual act together. And it just appears sometimes in the urban environment we're behind. You know, I'm not throwing shade because nobody really knew, you know, how COVID, but most of those schools are up and running, whether they're hybrid or, you know, all of those things have been worked out. And so you have to be able to change in order to see progress. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. You got to be that change. You know, you can't just talk about it or think about it or stay in the same place. Because if I did, we wouldn't be having no service. If all we at our church, we would just still be waiting for everything to be lifted, which we went back in on a soft opening. But if we couldn't do online services, we couldn't do Zoom, if we didn't learn how to quickly get this stuff together, we would not have been able to accommodate, you know, anybody that couldn't come into the building.
Exactly.
You know, so you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to change.
You do. And, you know, it's not always a bad thing. My projections for the future is that we will not go back to where we were at all, or, you know, to that same kind of world that we lived in. It's all virtual is here to stay. And so you may see the workforce looking like a couple days on, you know, in the office, couple days, you know, from home. You have a lot of companies who are going 100% virtual. And statistics have been showing and demonstrating that people work better from the comfort of their home. They are getting better results from their employees because you're home and you're comfortable with your environment. You get things done quicker so that you can, you know, do other things. You're not standing at the wine cooler. You're not standing at the water cooler for the next 10 minutes, you know, trying to get the morning started. You get in, you jump right in, you're on your computer, and, you know, they're just getting better results. I've talked to a lot of different employers just to find out what it is that they are looking for in terms of these, you know, our graduates to be able to do.
Exactly.
And, most of it is just knowing how to use these platforms and time management skills. Rick and I have been taking this powerful 12-week course. And it's about your mindset and, you know, how things, you know, change management.
It's about your
wellness, breathing properly because you're sitting at in front of a computer more. So you need to, do some stretches underneath your, desk. All this, build yourself internally to be a better person so that you can do your job better, whether it be in person or virtually. But I just see all of those things being so important in today's workforce. And we're incorporating some of those things into our training program. But I want to say my point being is that don't expect COVID to leave and things go back to the way they were. This change is here and these companies have adapted and they like it. Some of them, don't want a full-fledged work from home environment, but they are certainly integrating it into, the new normal. So you have got to adapt.
I'm glad you said that, because even the freeholder board meetings are virtual. The school board meetings are virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Your municipal meetings are virtual. So if you're not tapped into that, right?
Exactly.
Then you won't be able to stay abreast of the changes that are being made in your municipality, in your county, in your state. The governor, he's almost on every other day with a virtual meeting, but you got to have a phone. Most people are on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
Or tablets. You have to be able to have the right software, the right programs in order to tap into what's going on in your community on a local, county, state, and national level. So it's important. Even I was watching the basketball game. That was virtual.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not the game, but the people watching it. I understand now you can go into the Eagle Stadium at a certain percentage.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I understand that that's changed, but for the most part, you had to watch it on TV or watch it on your phone, and that's what it's all about.
It is.
I hope that people will get out and vote. It's crucial that we go out and we vote during this election that's come. Elections is already started.
Exactly.
November the 3rd is the culmination of the election process, but it's already started that people go out and vote, make their voices heard. And listen, I'm not against protesting, as long as it's a peaceful protest.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes no sense to protest if you're not going to back it up with a plan.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
The plan to get out there to make your voice heard is to vote for representatives, to people who have your values and represent your morals and the things that you believe in. You have to put people like that in office who can represent you in that way. Just to go out and vote and scream, or I mean, protest and scream and holler and carry a candle is not enough.
That's right.
You got to take it to the next level.
You got to be knowledgeable of what are you protesters for? Are you out there just because all your friends are out there, or are you out there in case you get a spot on interview and people want to know what you feel and what the issues are? You talk intelligently and say. I've been so impressed with these young people, because when they do those spot interviews, they know exactly what's going on.
Exactly. And everybody's not
Right.
Right.
Everybody's not doing that. You do have some people who have done that. In Lansing had the task force and locked 95 people up, for doing that. But it's good. We live in a country where we have the freedom of speech.
Exactly. Yep.
First, and so you can express the way you feel in a peaceful manner. But it's not enough to express that if we're not going to take it to the next level and go out and vote and hold your elected officials accountable. You just don't vote them in and just leave them. You want to know how they vote. You want to know how your legislators vote. You want to know how your freeholders vote. Are they voting for things that affect people that look like us, or people as a whole? You have to know that, and you can't know that if you're not a part of what's going on right now, especially on the virtual level.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. The meetings are virtual. All you got to do is, like, you make a phone call, just log in.
Right.
Log in.
Go right onto the county website, and you'll see when the next meetings are, and the link is right up there.
Yeah, log in. Take some responsibility, not just, say, well, it's their job, that's why you was elected, but take some responsibility to be engaged in what's going on in the community. And that's why I'm running for freeholder, soon to be commissioner if elected, I want to be engaged in what is going on in the community and be a part of that decision making, to able to make decisions based on from that perspective, from my perspective, and to make sure that it benefits the people that I represent.
Exactly. Very good.
Well, I hope this show was a platform for you to get the word out. And I can see, I don't know you as well as Trina knows you, but I see that for what little bit that you told me, which it wasn't a little bit, it was a lot. You have the strength, the power, and the opportunity and you had the trust of the people. I mean, like, you got my vote.
Well, I wish you could vote for me. Now, unless y'all live in incompetence
telling
here.
everybody, that's not, but I hope that there's a platform to get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but putting the word out there for me, Rick and Trina, I appreciate T-Bird's putting me on, giving me an opportunity, giving me a platform for people to get to know me, and even further, Trina, you know, your brother Baron was a member of my church.
I know.
Yeah, matter of fact, he got married.
In your
He
church.
got married. So we go way back. We
Yeah.
go way back.
He spoke at my brother's passing, and you know he kept it. You know it's the saddest moment in your life. You know you just you can't. You know I'm the oldest. My brother was the baby. That same week, Thelma, my cousin, who was my first best friend, because we were first cousins. We were the only two kids of our parents, and we played together, like for like 4 years before the rest of them started to come. So he passed on that Monday, and then my brother passed on that Saturday. And excuse me, I don't know, somebody's trying to call me. And it was just the saddest moment of my life. But when your dad got up there and he told the story of, some of the just my brother being a young person trying to, become a pastor, and we were all brought up in the church, and he told, he just did a good job speaking about my brother, and I appreciate the fact that he, came and just gave the audience that was there a comforting feeling about my brother.
Right.
And he's well known in the community. Everybody knows your dad, and so for him to come with those kind words, meant a lot to our family. And we miss him dearly. I would love to just talk to him about, because he was Republican.
No, Baron was Republican.
He was Republican. Oh,
but
yeah.
I tell people, I don't get mad if they're Republican, and if I told, because you have the right to choose whatever party you want to choose, but during the general election, you can vote for anybody.
That's right.
You can vote for anybody.
All of that, you just, it was just, it's just shocking. But he was a good guy. He did the right. He was about good things, and it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. What matters is that you do a good job for the people that you work with, and he did. You saw that funeral. That was it was a crazy event in terms of so many people saying such great things about my brother. And I miss him dearly. But I also, the ones of us, those of us that are still here on this earth, like you said, we have to continue to fight for what's best for all of us, not just our own individual personal agendas. Because when you help other people, you help yourself towards your personal agenda. And people don't get that. The more you help other people, the closer you get to what your blessings are going to be and that agenda that God has for you. When you keep everything tight in a fist like this, and you don't open yourself up to other people and their needs and things that you can do to help them, it's just sad. That's all it is. It's just sad.
Well, I want to thank y'all both for this wonderful opportunity. And if you live in EHT, you can vote for me.
Yeah, we gonna, a lot of people follow us. So
but a lot of people who do, and you can, and you've given me this platform so they could get a chance to know me. And I thank you for that. I really do. I'm looking forward to November the 3rd to see what happens, but hopefully if it's God's will, I'll cross that finishing line.
Oh, it's a done deal. Right. It's a done deal.
All right,
I know you've already spoken it into existence, because a lot of your commentary today was we. And that's so powerful. That's so powerful, Thelma. We. You didn't say I. You wasn't I or me. You said we. So it's already done.
Already done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
May God continue to bless you.
I hope to hear from you, with the good news.
Right, you will.
And if you want to come back again right before, let me know.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. good.
That was a good show. Very good. I'm so thankful that she decided to come on and share her knowledge and experience. Yeah, she's a good person. You know, I definitely we're looking forward. So if there's anybody that you want to nominate to come on, I think I'm going to try to I'm going to reach out to other people, because I think it's important that we all do our job to help get the word out about these positive individuals that are running for political positions. And this is our little contribution to our community to really inform you and educate you on where these people stand and what they're trying to do to improve the life for us. And so without further ado, any closing comments, Rick?
No, I think you about said it all.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, we'll see you on Tuesday with Tech Tuesdays with Trina. Have a safe, blissful, and just a happy, healthy weekend. We'll see you soon.